Today I'm not going to stick to a script, as I want to cram as much information into this video as possible. Unfortunately, you will also have to watch part 3 in order to understand the beginning of this video. I'm going to start straight away with the letter which we discussed in part 3, with only a few more things to say about it. If Annemarie Wapenaar was not the author of that letter found in Fabric Library, but indeed Yolanda Wessels wrote the letter, being a dark-haired, short-haired 12-year-old, then that would account for the misspelling of Annemarie's name, as Annemarie's name is spelled M-A-R-I and not M-A-R-I-E as in the letter. The I-E will be the normal spelling in Afrikaans, their home language. Anyway, that is speculation. In my heart, I feel that there was more truth in the original report 29 years ago than in the current one, and I will explain this later when I come to the press and a certain journalist's part in the investigation. And I hope I can get to that very quickly and maybe end off with part 5 and go on to another story. Anyway, the other thing I need to say about the letter, which to me was very significant, is that right at the end it says, "My friend tried to phone but was cut off." And this is where things get very strange, as a lot of people are really trying very hard to make us believe that these children were all killed. Yet Odette did indeed phone her godmother and aunt a couple of months, approximately 5 months after Van Rijn and Haroff were killed. She was cut off, but before she was cut off, she said that they were at some airport. Now, having grown up until the age of 11 and 12 in Kempton Park, there is almost no way that either Annemarie or Odette could not have known had they been at Jan Smuts Airport, which is now called Johannesburg International. Thus, they were, if that call was from Odette, then they were at some or other airport, and that would exclude Jan Smuts Airport. Now, it could have been one of the other bigger airports like Durban or Cape Town, but it could also have been a military airport. And as most of the bigger airports were almost immediately searched, I would rather go for a smaller airport like a military airport. And I actually managed to find a screenshot that I took of someone who thought she saw one of the girls on a military plane. I thought I had lost the screenshot, but I managed to recover it, and I will post it here. The other thing which is significant concerning this note is the actual address, which is blanked out in this post, but What I also find strange is that the police took more than 2 weeks before they actually approached that address and obviously found nothing. Indeed, concerning this information which came to light during our investigation with regards to this address, it has been reported to us that the address given was that of a prominent and wealthy person, and that police took it upon themselves to decide that the information on the address could not be correct. Now, this address at the time belonged to a very prominent, very wealthy person with a Jewish-sounding name who had international business interests and allegedly also some political clout. So I will leave it up to you to decide why the police took more than 2 weeks, if not more than 3, to approach that address. And if you guys think of the current headlines with regards to Jeffrey Epstein, you will also know exactly why I've decided to come out with the information I have and to do it now. I'm once again going to jump around a bit, and I apologize for that, but there is just so much material available that it is virtually impossible to deal with one part of the evidence all in one go, in one video or in a straight timeline. What I would like to discuss very quickly is again the disappearance of Tracy-Lee Scot-Crossley. Like I said before, I have my doubts as to whether Tracy was one of Gert van der Reen and Joey Haroff's victims. What I do believe is that Tracy did not intend to run away. Tracy did indeed intend to return home. What concerns me though, and what I would have thought the police or other investigators would have looked into before, is the fact that unlike the other victims, Tracy got into a vehicle with an unknown person, blonde-haired woman, and she was actually returned home, where she dropped off her purchases, removed a pink blanket from the foot end of her bed, went back to the same person, got into the same vehicle and took off, never to be seen again. This tells me something. Tracy was somehow familiar with this woman. It is either someone she had spoken to before or greeted before, could have been at the shopping mall or anywhere else that she frequented. The reason why I'm saying this is that whoever took Tracy felt comfortable to be seen with her, to be parked outside her home for a period of time, be it even only 5 minutes. But she was definitely not nervous, otherwise she would not have taken Tracy home first. That also leads you to believe that there is some story this person told Tracy to get her to leave once again, as Tracy knew that her mother was coming home during her lunchtime, etc. So thus Tracy definitely did not remove her blanket from the foot end of her bed to go on a picnic with this person. This person must have used some other ruse, and I've discussed it with my children and grandchildren, and I asked them to come up with a story. What would someone have told them to make them take the same actions? And one thing one of my kids came up with was that this person probably told her that she had run over a puppy, or there was an injured animal somewhere, and she needed Tracy to come and help her with it. So the fact that there was some incident, some familiarity, not just between Tracy and this person, but also between this person and the area Tracy lived in, is something I would have looked at the time, had I been one of the investigators. Something else which bothers me about Tracy's specific case is the fact that, more so than with any of the other known victims, Tracy was spotted numerous times after her abduction, years after her disappearance. And what I find hard to believe is that none of these incidences, or at least very few of them, actually made the news, or as far as I know, were fully investigated. I have been privy to some conversations between WhatsApp and Facebook conversations between people very involved in the case years ago, where they themselves had actually spotted Tracy, and somehow she managed to get away from them, refused to speak to them, and they had no legal recourse to hold her. There was even a rumor, and I believe there was a report or a book or an article written about Tracy-Lee's father and a private investigator who actually found her in Berea, Johannesburg, near the Chelsea Hotel, and it was alleged that she also ran away from them and was obviously had some kind of help to then disappear. As I could not find any reference to any such article or book or report, I did, however, manage to find a newspaper report in an Afrikaans newspaper, which I translated. And it reads as follows, or part of it reads as follows. The missing schoolgirl, Tracy-Lee Scot-Crossley, then in brackets 16. So I assume this article was published approximately 2 years after Tracy's disappearance. The missing schoolgirl, Tracy-Lee Scot-Crossley, apparently still worked as an escort at the Johannesburg agency less than a year ago. Her ex-employer has been pointed out as a co-worker of the dangerous Taiwanese mafia. The mafia known as, and then I cannot pronounce their name or title, specialize in the slave trade, drug trade, prostitution and blackmail, and it is feared the world over. 2 members of the mafia was apprehended at the Jan Smuts airport. With them were 3 girls who they intended to send to Taiwan, reads the report. However, I have not seen any follow-up reports or anything else referring to Tracy in this regard, and I found that rather strange and concerning. Okay, I'm going to end the video here. I was hoping to cram more into this video, but as I did not stick to a script this week, it was virtually impossible. I also apologize for the noise in the background. The kids are on holiday and playing Minecraft, and it is in excess of 40 degrees outside, so I could not put the poor budgies outside. In any event, in the next part, part 5, we will discuss, amongst other things, the role of the media in this case. I thank you for watching, and I'll be back soon.